Hello everyone, Friday, August 4th, 2017. Of course, Wednesday was New Comic Book Day, and it was a very small week for me as it relates to individual titles. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to do a quick video, and then I have an answer to a question that was given me by a couple of Twitter followers that I wanted to get to, and then give a kind of an update on what I see with my business in the future. So without further ado, here we go. First book is a book I probably wouldn't have picked up, but it came as a recommendation. It kind of had an Japanese anime feel to me on the cover, and I'm not real big on anime, but it was recommended, and I thought I would try it. From Titan Comics, Robotech, #1. As you know, I have a group of people that come in to buy the graphic adult covers mostly from Boundless, which is Unholy, Jungle Fantasy, Helena, and I did pick up a couple of those. I can't show them on the video because they are extremely graphic in nature, and I don't want to do that. Unholy #5, The Adult Extreme, and Jungle Fantasy Survivors #3, Sultry Nude. So again, they hold their value really well. There's a big following for them. There's not a whole lot of them out there, and a lot of shops don't carry them because of the content. So if you're interested in books that you can flip and try to make some money on them after a short period of time, that would be the book to do it. Excuse me. Walking Dead 170. Batman Rebirth 28. Cover A. Cover B. Little Joker action with the poker table. Deathstroke Rebirth 22. And Zombie Tramp Origins #2, Collector's Edition, covered up with some tape. And believe it or not, that is all I picked up this week. I didn't pick up multiples of any book. I just picked up those books. So also came in today this week was the Big Overstreet Price Guide. If you haven't seen this book, it is really jumbo size, very easy to read, good big print, which is good for me because my eyes are not the best as it relates to how I used to be, where I can look at the smaller Overstreet book. So the big one really saves my butt sometimes because I spent a lot of years in camera rooms and casinos and my eyes are just not 100% anymore. So that's been a lifesaver for me as it relates to looking at something for long periods of time. So that's what I picked up as it relates to the new books. Now, I had a couple of followers on Twitter who asked me a question. They said, "We like your videos, but we know you don't like CGC. What is your thoughts on PGX?" So first of all, when I talk about the grading companies, it's not that I don't like a certain company over another. I personally don't get books graded. Now, a few years ago when I did the CGC versus PGX runs videos, they got a lot of backlash, and it was a lot of people who replied to that. I wasn't saying that PGX was better than CGC. When I did those videos, if you watch the videos, and the problem we have is that people don't watch the entire video. They watch a video, they take a little piece or a comment, and they flip it to how they think it was meant to be said when it wasn't. When I did the PGX versus CGC videos, I was doing it based off of if you were going to send books in, what is the cost factor of the different books, what is the turnaround time, and is it worth doing? And that's what I did. So let's say for the sake of argument, I was going to get books graded. The last company I would want touching my books is PGX. I would never want them touching my books. And I say that because I have looked at the PGX grading standards the last year and a half, like I look at all companies. I just don't say things to say things without looking at the books. I'm not going to say anything about a company if I haven't researched it and looked at what the grading standards are on that. So PGX does a terrible job of grading. There was a streak a few years ago, a window where their grades were coming in real strong, and you thought that maybe they were going to turn that corner and really give CGC a run for the money, but it seems like ever since CBCS came on the scene, PGX has just decided, you know what, we're going to take a step backwards, and their grading has really been bad. At the last local show here that we had, PGX had a booth there along with CGC, and I walked up to the PGX booth, and I was just looking at the table because they have books that they put out showing, you know, this is our case, these are our labels, like every company should. You're, you know, selling your product. And they're grading the books that they had in there that were 94, 96, 98, and you can see issues with every one of those books. It'd be embarrassing to put those books out if you're trying to sell a product. I kind of related it to a tattoo artist who's a horrible tattoo artist, and he puts his pictures in these books in the lobbies. You look at some of these pictures for tattoos. As you know, I have a few tattoos, but only one guy does my tattoos. If your product is subpar, don't show it off. I mean, fix it. So to answer your question, I don't get books graded, but if I was, I would never use PGX, because you may get your books back quicker and it may be cheaper in cost, but they are subpar grading. The only thing they have going for them that I still say is top of the market is their case appears to be superior to the other two companies. But of course, CGC is trying to come out with their new cases. They've had some issues with that, but I don't know enough about it to make comments on it. So to answer your question, what do I think of PGX? I think they are a terrible grading company, and if I got books graded, that wouldn't be the company I'd be getting books graded by. So there's that. So I hope that answered your question. Excuse me. As it relates to my business, of course, last week I announced that due to a new job, I would have to temporarily shut down my business. And I appreciate all the positive feedback I've gotten and all the positive comments. And to fix the misconception that some of you have, again, not listening to the video or listening to everything, it is a temporary closure until I can get off the shift. I didn't say I was closing it down completely. I am closing it down until I get on a new shift. This is just an adjustment in business model, and that happens sometimes in business, and it's unfortunate that I have to do it. But when I come back, it's going to be bigger and stronger. Excuse me. And I thought, I drink a lot of Dr. Pepper, so sometimes I have to burp. So I apologize. When I did my business, when I come to reopen my shop, and it's going to reopen, Arkham Comics Las Vegas, inside the Bonanza Indoor Swap Meet, because I'm going to open up in the same building. How can I get people to come in there, and how can I make it bigger and better and add something to the comic book community in Las Vegas? So, spoke to a friend of mine who has a comic company he has a shop called Fire Force Comics here in Las Vegas. And it is also inside, he does a lot of local shows. He does the shows all the time and does very, very well at the shows. And we were talking, and he has decided to open up a booth inside the Bonanza Indoor Swap Meet as a way of keeping the comic feel in that swap meet going, so we don't lose it, so people just don't show up and not see me there and say, hey, there's no more comics there, a comic booth there. And then when I'm ready to open, I am also going to open a booth inside the Bonanza Indoor Swap Meet. And my standards are always going to be high grade. Okay, but what this is going to do is this is going to allow a collector now to come to the location and not only see one shop, but two shops. Not see one group of books, but see two groups of books. This will bring more people into the swap meet as it relates to comic book buyers, because they have a bigger option now than just going to a single shop. The whole idea was to grow this company and to grow the comic book industry into a more throwback, not so much new books, but good back issue books, high grade vintage books that people enjoy coming to see. I have a very good customer base. I've had a lot of support when it related to, I've had customers come in the last couple of days because I am open through the end of the month, until I have to completely shut the doors, and I've slowly started putting things away. But they all know the same thing. When I open, I'm going to open up, hardcore again and get everything going. Just with two locations now, instead of looking at 15,000 books, now you're going to have 30,000 books to look at. I think that's a positive. He's a friend. We feed off of each other. He has a selection of books that he does. I have a selection of books that I do. You, the customer, and the fan are going to be the ones who benefit from that. So for all of you out there thinking or sending me, little messages and saying, sorry you couldn't hack it in the, in the comic book industry, it's not the case. You're not listening to the video. If I didn't have the new job, it would be open. But guess what? 6 months from now, whatever it takes for me to get on a new shift, when my shop comes back stronger than ever, and we are a good location to come to, because like I said before, a fan can come in here or a collector can come in and see, multiple books. That's going to be great. Until I open up, you're going to be able to get a hold of me through my videos, my Instagram, my Twitters, my Facebooks. I'm also going to have books inside his shop. And if you want to look for a certain book, contact me and I'll take it to the shop and you can get it there. Or you can meet me there if you want to meet me there. That's fine. That's all part of working together to try to be successful in this industry, which is the most important thing, is to be successful and to get good quality books at a good quality price. Okay, so there's that. So I'm looking forward to the future, and I'm very excited for what the future holds. So again, kind of rambled on at the end of that, but pretty much that's what people, if you watch my videos, I do that sometimes because I get tired. So very small week as it relates to new pickups. The Big Comic Book Price Guide, if you haven't got one, go take a look at it if you can find them in your location. And as far as I'm concerned, I would never use PGX as a grading company. I hope that answered the question. And nothing but bigger. Arkham Comics Las Vegas is going to be bigger and better, bigger and better. Trust me on that. It's a temporary setback. So if you don't think it's true, you don't need to show up when I open up the doors again and people are getting good books at good prices. Again, if you have a question, send it to me. My phone number is there. Call me. Again, I appreciate all the support that I get from you guys. I'm going to do these videos every week. Look for updates on the different services that I have. And as always, if you didn't like the video, nothing I can do for you. Have a great night.